fire, Captain, but keep them locked in your sights.
We'll just let them lead us to the prize.
Go straight ahead just a little farther. We should see the entrance just beyond this ridge. There it is! We found it! We're almost there!
Zero Blue, sir. It appears that the enemy sub is headed inside that cave.
That must be where the Dragon Ball is hidden. Ha ha! Now blow them out of the water!
Aye, aye, sir.
Fire the torpedoes!
Torpedoes away.
Sir, we missed. No excuses. Fire another round immediately.
What's going on? Oh no! Look! There's another submarine behind us! They fired at us!
I don't think they're too friendly. There's only one group neat enough to do this. The Army.
Huh? Army? You don't mean the Red Ribbon Army?
That's them. I know the Red Ribbon Army has been looking for the Dragon Balls just as hard as I have, but they're much more dangerous and mean about it.
Ah!
I'd say trying to blow us into fish food borders on psychotic. Why didn't you tell me we were expecting company? I never would have signed up for this crazy mission.
Fire away!
They're firing on us again.
Okay, now would be a good time to move!
Negative impact! I'm afraid we missed them again, sir! You missed them! Soldier, execute this fool! I grew tired of him!
Sir.
No, please, come on. I got wife and 2 guns at home, man. I gotta pay the electric bill and something at the time.
Faster! We've gotta go faster!
I'm going.
Would it help if I got out and pushed?
At this point, I'm willing to try anything.
This is serious! Why didn't you tell us these guys were after you?
No one ever asked me about the Red Ribbon Army.
Ready torpedoes for launch!
We may be in luck. The cave is getting narrow.
Faster! Hurry up! Just go!
We did it. Their ship is too big to follow us in here.
Those simple fools think they found a safe haven. Prepare the escape pods! We're going after them! Engage!
Yeah, it's Boma.
They're playing right into my hands.
I'm a student for those of you that don't understand the videos, I'm a student at Full Sail. I'm a veteran. I was in the Army for 6 years, and I'm attending school on a VA bill, but Full Sail doesn't provide housing, so I got evicted. Long story. I got evicted before I came down here, and so since I've been down here, I've been homeless because they don't provide housing. I get BAH, and I'm trying to save for that, but they're treating me like I'm a regular homeless person. I have a badge that shows that I'm a student, and I have a parking tag on my car that shows that I am a student. This campus is open 24 hours a day for us to use for whatever we want to do. But every day, I've been here since like April. I'm in my 4th or 5th month of class. Every day the security and the police And these cars, these undercover cars with their lights flashing, keep bothering me. Like, what am I supposed to do? I need to go to school to get the money from going to school to save, to pay the $4,000 for. Yes, I received BAH. I need to use that 4,000. I need $4,000 to pay off my eviction so I can get an apartment. I have the money for an apartment. They just won't lease to me because I have an eviction on my record. And so the time it takes me to save for that in relation to day-to-day expenses, it requires time. So I don't need security harassing me every day, trying to make it seem like I'm doing something wrong by simply being on a campus when I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't live in Florida. I don't have family down here. I don't have anywhere to go. But I have to get the money from the school to pay the debt to be qualified to get an apartment, even though I make enough money to afford an apartment. The only thing stopping me from getting a place is they say, well, you have an eviction on your record, so we can't rent to you. That's it. That's it. And me having an eviction is just dumb stuff. It's just bad decisions that I made, like not drinking, not smoking crack or none of that crap, just making just poor life choices dealing with women. It's not a hard thing to do. It's not a difficult thing to achieve. Life is not difficult, but don't make my life harder than it needs to be. Why are you watching me? It's weird that he's been here all day. I don't have anywhere to go. When does it stop being weird that I've been here for 4 months straight? At what point does it stop being weird? Like, just leave me alone. Because you know what they're going to do? They're going to make some shit up, and then they're going to have the police come out here on some made-up ass shit, and then the police are going to be like, well, you have to leave. And I'm going to say, fuck you, because I've been in the Army for 6 years. And then I'm going to be all dead. A blood stain on the concrete for what? For fucking what? So you know what I'm doing? I'm recording their bullshit, and they keep bothering me. I'm going to sue the fuck out of them. Because it's 2024. There's nothing suspicious about a man sleeping in his car because he's homeless. This country has normalized being homeless. So it's not my fault that nobody has any sympathy or empathy when you're homeless in this country. But if I'm supposed to better my life by going to school, which is right fucking there, nobody should be bothering me if I'm doing the right thing. Nobody should be looking at my skin complexion and my hair texture and passing judgment on me every fucking day because they don't know shit about me. And if you're not going to come over here and put $4,000 in my hands, then let me go to school, save my money, and go to work every other day to do what I have to do to take care of me. And don't be oppositional to my progress. Don't create unnecessary bullshit in my life with your fucked up ass mentality. I don't need it. I don't fucking need it. I've been here all day. Since the sun came up this morning until now, I've been here. I blacked my car out because they won't leave me alone. They come pulling up with their lights flashing, with their sirens blaring. They won't leave me alone. And the only thing they want to do is they want me to confront them so they can say that I was the aggressor. You cannot get arrested for resisting arrest. It doesn't make any sense. But I shouldn't have to have people staring at me for 10 hours straight. How would you feel if I sat in a car across from you for 10 fucking hours and watched you? How would you feel about that? So why is it okay for security to do it? Do your fucking rounds. Drive around with your lights on, stare at me for 20 minutes, and keep that shit pushing. Why are you watching me all goddamn day? Why? Why is that necessary? Why? What is it gonna achieve? How is it gonna get you from point A to point B? How is that putting any money in your pocket? What is your goals in life? What is your ambitions? To be a racist piece of shit. You're upset that you got an African American man doing what is supposed to be done to elevate beyond the bullshit of this country, and you're suspicious because of your own inability to recognize decent human beings. Why is that my feeling? Why do I have to keep humbling myself because everybody around me wants to think that I am a piece of shit? Why do I have to keep being the one that has to sacrifice my humility and humble myself and constantly have to be on my knees begging and pleading and trying to get people to understand that I am not that guy? Fuck that shit. I wasn't in the Army for 6 fucking years to just keep being fucking humble. Miss me with that bullshit. Don't come over here fucking with me. Stay your bitch ass over there on the other side of the school and watch the fucking empty parking lot. Because now that I'm over here, there's no one fucking over here. No one's doing anything over here. There's not a single presence of any type of legality or security or police or nothing. So don't fucking come over here with your shit. Now that I've moved from where I was, a place where you could visually see that I wasn't doing any fucking thing, to a place where you can't visually see that I'm not doing any fucking thing. So keep your ass over there and leave me alone. And the only thing I'm doing, because I'm sick of their shit, because I've already explained the situation to them, I've already communicated what it is that I'm trying to do, I've already given them all the information they need to know, I've told them everything, and the only thing they want to do is say, do you need food? Where am I going to put food? Where am I going to put it? You want to give me groceries? Where am I going to keep groceries? If you need anything, let us know. I need you to leave me the fuck alone so I can make my grades and save my money and get an apartment. That's what I need you to do. Why is that so difficult? It's not. It's not difficult. But what you're gonna do is you and your buddies are gonna sit around and watch me and study my behavior and my movements and make up some fucking stupid shit and then report it to the police. The police are gonna come out and pretend like they're my friends and they're gonna ask me a bunch of bullshit ass questions. And then once you get me maneuvered into the space that you want me to be maneuvered into, you're gonna do some fucked up ass shit that's gonna cost me to be a fucking criminal. And nobody in this country is gonna fucking care, just like Puff Daddy. I'm not saying Puff Daddy is innocent, and I'm not saying he's guilty, but I really think that there's something to say about Donald Trump being found guilty of some shit, walking around still running as the fucking president of the United States, in relation to Cat Williams just saying, you know, this is the kind of things that Puff Daddy does in his personal life. Nothing that was said was illegal, maybe immoral, maybe unethical, but none of it was illegal. But we went from Cat Williams said this and he dropped all these receipts to Puff Daddy just being literally just thrown in prison without any probable cause. There's no problem. There's not even, the federal government isn't even saying that we've been investigating Puff Daddy for several months or several years. We've got all of this dirt on him, and that was the thing that we needed to crack the case. No, you're just throwing another African American in prison because you can. Because this country has guided everybody's condition that if you say that an African American is doing something wrong, then they are doing something wrong. And there is no justice in this country when you look like me. And I'm just sick of that shit. I'm tired of it. You want me to go to your fucking institutions and study your academics to get your grades and your documents and your degrees so that I can have your sheets of paper, so that I can make more of your paper, so that I can provide for myself, when the only thing stopping me from getting an apartment is a sheet of paper. And guess what's stopping me from doing that? Your ability as a security guard to call the police and lie. Hey, there's this guy in the parking lot drinking alcohol. Hey, there's this guy in this parking lot. I think he's smoking crack. Hey, there's a guy in this parking lot. I think he's masturbating, or I think he's attacking the young girls on this apartment. I seen him pull his dick out and was flashing. Like, all you have to do is just lie. All you have to do is fucking lie, and you can destroy entire communities of people in this country that look like me, and nobody fucking cares, because we all have been conditioned to just accept that shit at face value. And I'm sick of that shit. I dealt with that enough in life to the point where I had to enlist into the military. I sacrificed enough of my freedom to go into the military because I'd be damned if I go to prison. And when I enlisted to the military, they taught me how to be a fucking weapon. But I refused to deviate from my ethics and my morality. I understood the job and I understood the mission, but I'm not going to do dumb shit. I'm not going to do illegal shit. I'm not going to, be retarded as fuck for you. I'm not going to walk around and be a tap dancing coon so that you can feel better about yourself, First Sergeant. No, you're not going to talk to me that way. No, First Sergeant, I'm not going to do that for you. No, First Sergeant, you're going to have to respect me. I'm not a child. I'm 34. You're going to have to respect me. Okay, you're tired of my shit? I'm tired of your shit. It's time for me to get out of the military. So here I am, out of the military. I got married, dealt with my wife, dealt with her crazy insanity, and now here I am, evicted. Didn't even need to be evicted, but she didn't want to listen to me. She wanted to vibrate on stereotypical social norms. So now here I am, at Full Sail, trying to get a degree at first in video game development, but they don't teach programming. What's the point of going to a school that doesn't teach programming? Well, you have to learn on your own. Why am I giving them money to learn it on my own? I spent my whole life trying to learn how to program on my own. So why am I giving them money for me to learn that shit on the internet? I could do that myself without having to pay them for that. So I switched my degree because ChatGPT is a much better platform to learn how to program, to the point where it's gonna write programs for you anyway. So you don't even need to study programming anymore. You need to become a prompt engineer. But I digress. So now that I'm in creative writing now, because I already have a book published that I wrote while I was in the military, in the field, literally in the field, doing movements and having to deal with all of the bullshit. I literally finished the book. And it's rough because I couldn't devote all of my time and energy to it. But here I am now trying to get the actual document that will allow me to make some actual money off of my creativity, which is what these videos should be about. But I can't rest so that I can function properly because I'm constantly having to deal with people circling around my car like vultures, looking at me suspiciously like I'm doing something wrong by simply doing what is expected of me as an adult human male in the United States of America. I am not responsible for the homeless population. I'm not responsible for that. I'm not responsible for all of the laws and legislations that was created to make things harder than they need to be. I'm just surviving and trying to follow the laws and regulations. What I don't need is a corrupt ass system to let that one piece of shit Caucasian ass bastard come over here and fuck my life up with their lies and their deceptions. That's what I don't need. The 99% of them doing whatever is fine, but the one person that fucks it up is the problem. I didn't spend 6 years in the army to come to college to have my record fucked up. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. I got police constantly pulling up on me, watching me, and then I move somewhere else and they pull up watching me. Then I move somewhere else, they pull up watching me. Give me $4,000 fucking dollars so I can get an apartment. Let's make it simple. Address my actual problem instead of trying to make me what you want me to be. Because I don't have to bow down and lower myself to your inability to have an imagination and an expectation for me. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I want to do in my life. And I'll be damned if in 2024 I don't learn from the bullshit that has existed in the past. I've watched this shit evolve into what it is today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop entertaining them. I'm going to stop engaging with them. And I'm going to record them doing their dumb shit. And when I'm done recording them doing their dumb shit, if they keep fucking with me, I'm just going to sue the fuck out of them. It's just that simple. I'm going to collect their license plates. And I'm going to collect the head security guard was like, when they're doing that to you, get your names. I confronted one of the security guards directly. All this stuff is on my channel. It's all these live videos. It's on my channel. I confronted him directly. Like, quit flashing your lights at me while I'm trying to sleep. I'm not flashing my lights at you. I can park wherever I want to park. I watched this man. As soon as I pulled up to park where I always park, I watched him change his orientation of his vehicle and turn his lights on as soon as I pulled up. And it's like, for what? What is the goal? Like, what is it that you're trying to achieve? You feel good about your ability to... I'm already sleeping in my car every night, trying to go to school and make grades and having to work at Arby's. How does this benefit you? What is exactly that you are achieving from yourself? What do you get out of making someone that already has a hard enough time in life even harder? Is this part of your job description? Are you being told to harass the students? Or are you just a piece of shit and nobody wants to correct your behavior? Because I've worked with enough piece of shits in my life as a person not in a position of authority to understand that the pieces of shit in the world are allowed to be pieces of shit because it benefits the people that they are under. It's easier for them to be yielded as a weapon to control the other people than to just address the fact that this guy probably shouldn't be here or this woman shouldn't be here. No, I don't like him. I'll send that person that I like this person a little bit more than I like that person. So I'll use this person I like a little bit more to get rid of that person that I definitely don't like. And it's just the way society functions normal. Like, this is what we do. That's why My02cent is not for children. Because at the end of the day, the things that I want to say on this channel, no one's gonna understand. No one's gonna believe it. But you know it's true because you see If you're like 18, 19, or 20 or 21, you kind of see it, but you don't really believe it because you've been conditioned to think that you should take accountability for your actions. But taking accountability for your actions and taking ownership of what someone has done to you are not the same thing. And that's where it gets convoluted. Because by the time you figure out, oh, that wasn't really that thing that happened to me wasn't really me. It was this other indirect bullshit as like the way the game is played. Because as you get older, you understand the game. And then when you get to your 30s, you're like, well, whatever. When I spent 10 years dealing with the crap and I didn't believe the people when I was dealing with it. So why would I communicate to the younger generation how it works? Because when I was the younger generation, I didn't understand it. So now that I am the older generation and I understand it and I'm seeing the younger generation, why would they listen to me? Why would they believe me? Why would they understand? And it's a hard thing to communicate, but you can see it. You can see it with your own eyes. Donald Trump is a wealthy Caucasian man running for the president of the United States. He was convicted and found guilty in court, but he's still running as the president of the United States. He's still able to maintain his power and his authority and his presence in society without any negative repercussions for the things that he has been found guilty of. Right? You see it. You see it on the news, right? Puff Daddy had accusations made against him. He's in prison. They've made this man disappear. He's not even making videos to even defend his position or even try to say anything. Because what they've done is they've locked him up and now they're going to go through his data. They're going to go through his information to try to figure out what can we use to spin the narrative to show that he's guilty so we can do what? Take all of his money from the African American community. That's all this is about. All these wealthy African Americans have all this money and this wealth and they're not doing anything with it, but Europeans want it back. The black community is not supposed to have any money. We need to get as much of it back from them as we possibly can before they figure out that they can use their wealth to empower themselves. That's what we need to do. We need to hurry up and figure that shit out. That's why they're going after all of our African American billionaires. And nobody sees it. Nobody wants to recognize it for what it is. But that's just the reality of what's going on. Like, and that's just the reality of what's going on. So I don't know. I don't really have all of the answers, but I'm working on designing a system. This channel, this channel is not supposed to be me ranting and raving about bullshit. It's supposed to be me putting together, and I'm working on it, but it's hard. It's hard to make an applied science to life, to day-to-day activities, and try to address I'm ranting. I'm sorry. What I figured out at a very young age, because my father explained stuff to me. What I figured out at a very young age, I was trying to get a job, and I was going to this place to get a job, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that they wasn't hiring me because of my skin complexion. So I was told that that was called racism. So I knew they were being racist, and I called the corporation and I said, I think it was McDonald's, and I was like, I'm trying to get this job at this place, and the general manager at this location is not hiring me. I think she's discriminating against me because of my race, and I have all the skills that are required to do the job, but I can't get the job because she won't hire me. So the lady on the other side of the phone, Caucasian woman, said the general manager of the location has the right to hire and fire based on their preference. They have the right to hire you however they see fit. Even if you feel like you're qualified, they still have the right not to hire you. So I reflected on that for a second, and I was really irritated and annoyed because it's like, well, there's not supposed to be any discrimination in the country. These corporations are supposed to be equal opportunity employees. They're not supposed to do this. They're not supposed to do that. And then something inside of me was like, why would you want to work at a company that's racist anyway? Why would you want to subject yourself to people that don't want you there to begin with? Why would you do that to yourself? Go somewhere else. Go 3 miles down the street and there's another store, and those people are going to look like you. Yeah, it's going to be a less comfortable environment, but at least you'll be surrounded by people that aren't going to treat you like shit just because they feel a certain kind of way about who they are in life. So that's what I started doing. When I recognize that people don't want me somewhere, I leave that place. But then as I started getting even older beyond that, I realized it's counterproductive to constantly have to adjust myself to other people's inability to be humans, right? Why do I have to keep sacrificing what I'm trying to do for me because other people want to have an opinion about somebody that they don't even know? You don't even know anything about me. You can't even formulate an opinion about me because you don't know anything. You've never met me. We've never had a conversation. We've never sat down. We've never had any type of discourse. So at the end of the day, so why does there have to be so much more energy for me to have to adjust myself to you, right? So that's when I changed the parameter. Now I acknowledge the bullshit. I entertain people at their level. And if you want to be a racist piece of shit, I call you out for it. I just flat out just let you know that what you're doing is not okay and I'm not going to be a part of it. You're not going to treat me like that. And then I went into the military. After 34 years of that bullshit, then I went to the military. And I literally went into the military because I said the military is an organization that has been dealing with racism for so long that by now they should have it under wraps. No. No. It's just as bad as it has always been. If you're not going to be a tap dancing coon in the military, you're not going to get very far. I'm just going to just put that shit out there. Nobody wants to do the work. And everybody wants to complain that things aren't working the way that they're supposed to work. I'm just going to put that shit out there. The people in the military that are decent human beings are there. But it only takes one person with the wrong disposition with authority to fuck up everything. And that's why the military is the way that it is. When you want to understand why the military is the way that it is, it's because good people leave and the pieces of shit in the society stay. And when you have more pieces of shit in an organization than decent humans, two things happen. The decent people leave, or the decent people get converted to pieces of shit. And that's literally the foundation of the military. That's how that machine functions. That's how that machine runs. When I was in the military and I was trying to just do the right thing and be a decent person, and my leadership, and I kept trying to explain it to my leadership, like, I'm not really trying to be dealing with this crap. Like, none of what you're expecting me to do is difficult or hard, and none of this makes sense. I don't understand why I have to constantly have to lower myself and humble myself to these children. Like, I'm tired of constantly having to be the bigger adult and be subjected to the lack of experience. Like, what I'm trying to say is that if you have somebody in their 20s that's in a leadership position, they're going to make mistakes. That's understandable. But when you have a person without any experience giving orders to somebody with experience, and they don't want to acknowledge the experience that the older person has, and then failures occur, you can't get mad at the older person for following the orders. Because it's like, well, you should know better. I do know better. But do you want me to know better, or do you want me to be obedient? And if I'm being obedient and failing because we both know, First Sergeant, because we're the same age, that I'm being told to do some dumb shit, why do you double down on the younger generation's ability to make things unnecessarily difficult? Like, why do you use that as your measurement to show evidence that Specialist Emerson is not good enough? And the answer is simple. Specialist Emerson has the wrong hair texture and the wrong skin complexion. So we're going to go out of our way to make sure he fails, right? We're going to make sure he fails so that we can keep him under control, because the worst thing that we can have in the military is an honest, old-ass man with no fucking rank. There is nothing more dangerous to the power structure in the military than a private that's 35 or 36 that understands life. This is the most dangerous person in the military, because when he walks up to First Sergeant and speaks to First Sergeant, he's going to talk to First Sergeant at First Sergeant's competency level. And it's like, it won't matter at that point. So all the other soldiers and all the other NCOs and all the other leaders around make sure that they go out of their way to disenfranchise and treat that soldier like shit, so that they can make sure he doesn't have any reputationable position and social status to make any waves in the water. It's just, oh, that's just Private so-and-so. He's just that. And that's what they do. And that's why they throw all the young, go get them. because they already know we need to make sure that you control him so that I can control you. I need my younger soldiers to control the old man so that I can control the old man. But, by the time I figured that out, I was already burnt out, ready to go. So that's just the rant and rave. These videos are going to keep popping up. I was supposed to be doing a run. My leg is much better now. It's not swollen anymore. I'm going to try to get back on a consistent run schedule next week. But yeah, hopefully they'll just leave you alone. So if you see the live videos and you're confused about what's going on, that's what it is. I'm just recording myself doing nothing in my car. So when I have to defend myself against their lies, well, I seen him in his car smoking crack. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't have narcotics in my system. I can pass a drug test. I'm not about to be wasting my time with that. You wanna lie, cheat, and steal for what? Like, what are you gonna gain at the end of the day? I'm very close to achieving my objective of getting my apartment, but it only takes one stupid security guard to cause the right stupid police officer. Then I'll be all getting arrested and put in jail for no fucking reason. For no fucking reason. And the only thing Full Sail's gonna do is say, he's been here on the property for months, making a ruckus and causing problems. And we've been trying to get him to leave, but he keeps telling us that he doesn't have anywhere to go. We don't have a problem with him being here, but he can't be disturbing the peace. I'm literally watching Dragon Ball. I'm literally just in my car watching Dragon Ball. Because I can't fucking sleep. I've been up all day restless. I can't sleep. And all I'm doing is in my car watching Dragon Ball. You don't care enough to help me, but you have maximum investment in trying to make sure that you can be the guy that's going to hurt me, so you can do what? So you can have a nice story to tell people later? You're going to fuck up my whole fucking life so that you can be able to say, yeah, and then this guy, he was coming up there all homeless, and I don't got time for that shit. I don't have time for that. I'm not in college for that. I'm not at Full Sail. Let me make it clear. I'm not at Full Sail to get a degree. I'm at Full Sail to get a fucking paycheck. You have to understand what it is you're trying to do in life. I'm not here to get a degree. I'm not going to get a job working for Disney. No one's going to care. This world does not care about African Americans, especially African American men. The only thing they want is to use you for their own gain. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you're able to see that, the sooner you're able to be the change that is necessary in this country for all of us to be Americans. Because when you're sitting there and you know that you're Caucasian and you're making $2 more than the African American standing next to you, you should understand that this is the reason why that guy is drinking. This is the reason why that guy is behind on his rent. This is the reason why that guy can't afford to eat food. This is why sometimes when he comes to work, he didn't shower properly because he doesn't have the finances for his hygiene. You should think that you should be the person telling your employers, this guy should make the same amount of money that I make. There's no reason why the person standing next to me is making less money than me when we're doing the same exact job. But we don't do that in America. We're perfectly okay with walking into a job and being told, don't discuss your income. Don't discuss how much money I'm going to pay you hourly. And this is the reason why women are underpaid. Because it's perfectly okay for everybody to have a different amount of money being made at the job doing the same exact job. And it's a deliberate system designed to make sure that Caucasians make more and earn more than non-Caucasians. And that's just the way it works. And we're perfectly okay with it because as soon as you go to work at 18, you start understanding that, oh, this is the way it works. You don't question it because you don't know to question it. And then by the time you're in your 20s, you're like, this is some bullshit. But by that time, you're already kind of complacent. And by the time you're in your 30s or in your 40s, you're teaching this to your children. So it just continues to be normal. But that's how this works. That's how this works. That's where my eviction comes from. Being underpaid, overpaying child support, and having to deal with a woman that didn't want to understand the adversities that I had specifically for me. That all of the problems that all my bitching and moaning and complaining is me. It's not anybody else's fault but my fault. Like I invented, the whole fucking world was invented by me. The whole world, 100% of, when you look out your window, all of that is your fucking fault. You did all of that. You created all of that. Make that shit make sense. Make it make sense. Statistically, I think I would honestly say, from what I've been seeing, I would say at least 8, if not 20% of Americans are homeless. From what I've observed going around, living in this country, going everywhere, I would say at least 8 to 20% of Americans are homeless. Because if you're living with somebody and you're not on the lease, if you're roommating with someone and you don't have property of your own and you don't have your name on your lease and you're not directly responsible for paying rent, you're fucking homeless. If you're not under the age of 18 living with your parents and you're living with somebody and you don't have a lease, you might as well be sleeping in your car like me, because you're, by definition, you're homeless. Even if you're paying rent to somebody that is on a lease, you're subleasing, you're still by definition homeless. 20% of Americans are homeless. And here I am at school doing what I'm supposed to do to get where I'm supposed to be. It doesn't even make any fucking sense that this school doesn't have housing for us. And I know what you're gonna say. They do have housing, Paul, but it doesn't make sense that the average person in the world is gonna have baggage. So it doesn't make sense that they don't have just housing. Like, why do I need to pass? Why does a veteran with a GI Bill have to pass all of the necessary, the same level of scrutiny that a person just getting an apartment have to pass? They didn't need me to do that in the Army. When I enlisted in the Army, I didn't have a bank account. So I don't have a bank. I don't have a bank account. I haven't been making enough money in the last year or two to keep an account open. So I don't have a bank account. They wasn't like, oh, you don't have a bank account. Okay, well, you're not. We can't. Sorry, you can't. You can't serve. If you don't have a bank account, you can't serve. They took care of that shit. They took care of everything because they need soldiers on the front line, and I'm grateful that I didn't have to go to the front line. But it was built into the structure. And when I got out, all that stuff was taken care of. But now, back to civilization, back to a broken society. You know, like nothing will ever change, I guess. But I guess I'm done ranting and raving. Let's see what the comments have said, if they have said anything. There are no resources for homeless vets. Homelessness is an institution. I'll end this video explaining the way homelessness works in this country. Homelessness is the reason why there is homelessness everywhere in America is so that you will go to work. And what has happened is, this is what I mean. If you don't go to, okay, when you were a child, what did you see? You saw homeless people, right? What were you told about those homeless people? They didn't want to what? Work. They don't want to do what? Be responsible. They don't want to take care of themselves. They don't want to function as normal members of society. So homelessness is for the honest members of society, right? If you are honest and refuse to be in compliance with society, you will become homeless. If you are dishonest and refuse to be in compliance with society, you will go to prison. The vast majority of people that you see that are homeless are the most honest people we have in our country, because if they wasn't honest, they would be in jail or in prison, right? I'm not saying that they're not doing things that are considered illegal, because when you're brought to a place of desperation, you're going to break laws, right? What I am saying is that they have the highest moral fibers. They have the highest ethical and moral standing in society, right? So since society wants us to be in compliance, since society wants us to conform and be obedient for the benefit of the upper classes, homelessness is part of the institution that forces you to do things the way you were expected to do them, right? That's why you see so much homelessness. So it's not so much that people are homeless because they made a mistake. People are homeless because statistically, a certain percentage of Americans have to be homeless. It's built into the institution. It's built into the way the government runs the country. That's why all of the countries have it. That's why all of the nations around the world. This is a first world problem, and it's part of the design to condition you from a young age. That is your future if you don't go to school. If you don't graduate from high school, that's where you're going to be. And the individuals, we believe that will never happen to me, right? You're sitting there, you're listening to what I'm saying, and you're thinking to yourself, that will never happen to me. I will never be in that position. And a few of you, by my definition, are over the age of 18, living with somebody, probably giving them money, but don't have your name on a lease. So by definition, you're already homeless, because all they have to do is tell you to leave, or they themselves get evicted and then you get evicted with them. And you've been giving them money for God only knows how long, and you haven't built any rental history, and you haven't built any credit, and you're not saving 2.5 times rent. The average rent right now is about $1,000 to $1,500. You need $3,000 to $5,000 to be able to move into a place. Just from going from where you are to where you're trying to be, you need at least $5,000 to do it. And the average person doesn't have that. And the people that are above average, they're not gonna be renting at that level. They're not gonna need 3,000 to $5,000. They're gonna need more, because they're gonna be in the $100,000 to $1,000,000 ranges. So those numbers are the same. It's the same energy. And that's literally how this stuff works. This is the economics of society. This is the stuff that we should be this is the stuff that they should be discussing in debates when they're talking about presidencies, but they don't. They're talking about cats being eaten in Springfield. There's every state in America has a Springfield. He just threw out an arbitrary name and people were like, yeah, like, but hopefully with my 2 cent, I can address that. But I don't think I did a very good job, but that's basically what homelessness is. It's a necessitated aspect. It's just like college. I mean, not college. It's just like school. 100% of students can't graduate. Statistics state that some percentage of people have to drop out. Some percentage of people have to fail. So when they're grading students' work, those students that teachers are picking on, they have to fail. And I'm talking about elementary, middle school, and high school. Those kids have to fail. It's part of the institution. It's designed that way. It's designed. The teacher has a job. She has a quota. Only a certain percentage of her students can graduate, and she has to meet her quota. And if 100% of her students are graduating, she has to explain why. She has to adjust her curriculum and make sure that some of them don't make it, or some of them are below the line. There has to be this gradient. It has to be there. Otherwise, the system doesn't function the way that it's designed. All of these institutions are ran the same way, from the ground up. Everything that you learn in high school continues to perpetuate once you graduate. Every job, every institution, the Army, it's all based on high school dynamics, all of it. And it never stops. It never stops. Once you get a college degree and you go and you get I don't have a college degree, not yet, and I've never worked in anything higher than just like warehousing or the military. But you can see how these people are just as snobbish and just as snooty as their 12th grade level college. They're just as snooty as they were when they were in a 12th grade. But once they graduate from college, they just get a new lexicon and a higher jargon and a different nomenclature to continue to be that same child. They just have a little bit higher status. They make more money, but when you do the math, the numbers are always the same. And what I mean by that is that if you're making X amount of money, a certain percentage of that money is going to be rent. The average American pays 40. Let's be generous. The average American pays 30 to 60% of their income monthly to rent, right? So it doesn't matter if you make $100. It doesn't matter if you make $1 million. 60% of $1 million is equivalent to 60% of $1 million is equivalent to 60% of $10,000. The only difference is, if you are middle class, you can function more comfortably at the low class level. If you are low class, you can function more comfortably at the poverty level. But if you are middle class with a middle class income, you feel the same amount of stress that the low class and the poor feel every day, because we haven't figured out that that's just the way society works. Because they want you to get up and they want you to go to work every day. They want you to constantly have to pay your taxes and constantly be at stress about your life and constantly being focused on wasting your life to make the machine, which is the nation, run. And that's literally how all this has always worked. And until we decide to fix it or AI shuts it all down, how it will continue to work. And on that note, I am, like I said, I'm ranting and raving. I've got a My02cent nomenclature. I'm working on large numbers, large scale numbers, so that I can teach multiverse cosmology. I have a base 10 clock that I'm working on, a base 10 calendar that I'm working on. I've got a 10-degree circle where I'm going to just talk about the degrees of a circle and what 10 degrees in a circle instead of 360. Uh, a month, a 10-month clock, a 10-month calendar with a 10-month calendar with 37 odd days. For the odd days have 37 days, the odd months have 37 days, the even months have 36 days. It equals out to the exact same time, the exact same amount of days that we have now. The beginning of the year is day 0. Like, I have the things that I'm working on. I can't create a structure that I can use to communicate these principles of science in any way that is meaningful, because there's too much noise in YouTube's algorithm. And right now I'm using ChatGPT to narrow it down, and it's working for the most part. It's working. Like, I'm putting together a cosmological time frame where the universe is described as being 100,000 years, 100 trillion years from start to finish. And then within that cosmological time frame, I'm describing like the history of Earth and the history of humanity and the evolution of simians and sapiens from biped species that evolved from rodents, so that I can address the overall scheme of race and ethnicity and nationality. And I created the term Fiona to represent the queen for the pharaoh. Like, I have a lot of axioms and postulates and theorems that I'm working on, but I don't have anything finalized because I'm too busy dealing with the adversities of life. It's a lot when you're still sleeping in your car, and then on top of all that, I'm still designing my all-female fighting game. So there's a lot that I need to do and a lot that I want to get done, but I need to get out of the parking lot. I need to get my own apartment, and I can't do any of that if these bitch ass pieces of shit security guards come pulling up on me, making false accusations, and then have the police come out based on their false accusations, and then escalate bullshit, and then I'm all in jail having to defend myself against watching fucking Dragon Ball. You know how irritating it would be to be in front of a judge because I was watching Dragon Ball? Like, I'm sitting in my car watching Dragon Ball, police pull up, a bunch of fucking lights. I'm told to get out of the car, I get arrested. And then I'm sitting there like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And they're like, well, we've been watching you for weeks. We've been watching you for months. And you've been doing this and you've been doing that. You've been harassing students. And it's just like none of this is true. None of this is fucking true. So you know what I'm doing? Live streaming exactly what I'm doing. Live streaming exactly what I'm doing. So if it does come down to push come to shove and they do try to lie or exaggerate bullshit, because I know that is what they do, because I dealt with it for 6 years in the military, and I dealt with it for God knows how many years before I went into the military. That's how I wound up paying child support for 18 years, because of the lies and the bullshit. I'll have a position to defend myself against, because the live stream on YouTube, I don't control that shit. I can't. I can kind of sort of edit it, but it's time stamped, it's dated, it's third party resource. So it's something, I guess. But as always, my name is Paul Emerson, and I have given you my 2 cents. The fastest way to remove an eviction is to pay it off. just so that you can understand, like, and I promise this is the last thing. I was just reading through the comment sections. If you owe an apartment complex money and it's affecting your ability to get an apartment, the fastest way to address that issue, pay them. Just pay them. Just always understand that you have to pay your rent. No, I mean, it's like, that's just common sense. You have to pay your rent. I don't know how many hours I spent screaming at my wife, explaining to her, well, my fiance at the time, explaining to her that no matter what I do in life, I'm gonna have to pay rent. And this is the adversity of not paying my fucking rent. Like, this is what I'm dealing with, this bullshit right now at the age of 42 because I didn't pay my fucking rent. And it's not like I didn't know, but trying to deal with the adversities of a broken fucking system and trying to empathize with the irrational insecurities of a woman. Here I am, and it's nobody's fault but my own. Take accountability for yourself. Be a responsible adult. Pay your fucking rent. Pay your debts. Don't live beyond your means. Don't live beyond your means. If you can't afford something, don't buy it. If you want it that bad, get a better job. Get 2 jobs. Simple. Life is not hard. But just don't entertain other people's bullshit.